What is going on, SoFi fans? Welcome back to Financial Journey. SoFi is very much green today, and I think that's left a lot of investors scratching their heads and just very curious. So I want to break it down fundamentally why we are going up and some things to look forward to possibly for the remainder of the week. So I'm going to go over all the stuff you need to know. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Always greatly appreciated. And with that, let's get right to it. So looking at the intraday chart, we are showing a lot of good strength, and I think that's a very good takeaway. A lot of other growth stocks this week, or more specifically today, are going down because this week is a very big week because tomorrow is CPI, and then the following day the Feds are going to be making an interest rate decision. And theoretically, as I've always said, that is very beneficial to SoFi, but unfortunately, a typical growth stock, if interest rates do go up, it hurts it. So this is where we are finally, hopefully at least, making realistic sense, because on paper, as I've already said, their earnings are home run. So their operation is doing very much good things, and they've been doing that for a while. But when it comes down to the stock price, I think it's been so heavily manipulated that people are very much used to it just going down. And I think that is a very, very wrong thing. And unfortunately, it gets to the point where even Anthony said that the market is just treating SoFi very irrationally. And when it comes to it, I like to also look at the sentiment. For the most part, it's been very much broadly negative because, like I said, we've been going down. There is good glimpses of hope that there is some positive to it. So hopefully, at least maybe just in the short term as well, we might have found a bottom, because if the interest rates do go up to, for instance, the 4.5%, and we do maintain our current APYs that we offer customers, as I've been saying almost every SoFi video, that once they do transition away from such high APYs to incentivize customers to come over to now collecting pure revenue, that is going to help SoFi's balance sheet. The bottom line, amazing stuff is going to happen once they do transition. So this week might be a very good week for SoFi. So let me know your thoughts on that initially. I also like to look at articles as well, see what the media is saying about SoFi. And as you can tell over the last little bit, for those of you that do look at a lot of articles, things are starting to look very optimistic. They are all bringing up the same two things that you need to keep in mind as far as the risks, one of which is just Joe Biden and the student debt and all that fun jazz that I think SoFi investors just want to forget and just get that over and done with. And then the second aspect is that cryptocurrency. Funny enough is these two aspects are relatively small SoFi attributes or business assets. So even Anthony's kind of pushed and mentioned during the recent earnings that this only is encompassing on the federal debt, which is a very small component of SoFi's business. So hypothetically, we're not losing too much. And then the cryptocurrency aspect, even if we did wipe that off of our operations, it still wouldn't be that damaging to SoFi. So I think ultimately things are starting to turn for the positive for SoFi, and shorts are even more so aware of this. So I want to give you a good breakdown of this as well. Short score is currently 72. Higher the number, the higher the likelihood of a squeeze happening. Utilization is 96.67, so that's definitely broken off of that 100% mark. But as of today, right now, shorts are almost returning about 500,000 shares. So definitely a nice transition. And as I already mentioned, comparing SoFi to other growth stocks, a lot of growth stocks are getting massacred based on shorts today. Because like I said about the interest rates potentially damaging a lot of growth stocks, but it is going to be very beneficial to SoFi. I like to see these kind of things because coming from a risk versus return standpoint, shorts do not see it advantageous. I particularly don't see a squeeze happening, but I like to use this as a benchmark. So clearly the fact that they are closing out a lot of shares is a very positive sign. And over and above that, technicals, which I'm a very big technicals fan. So looking here, we've been very oversold. So looking at stochastic, we are at 11. We also do have a little bit more of a deviation starting. So black line above the red showing a nice bullish sentiment is wanting to form momentum. Number of retail investors are just starting to get back in today, coinciding with this as well. So the sentiment, so it's a win-win in my opinion, at least. Let me know your thoughts on that. But outside of that though, RSI is also at 40, which is fairly neutral. And on the actual chart, we did hold some very good support at that stage. So as I've been saying for a very long time, over the last couple of videos more specifically, I personally do not feel that a reverse stock split is ever going to happen with SoFi. And my reasoning is that I think it was only enacted because of SoftBank. And SoftBank did have a pretty big substantial position in SoFi. And I already mentioned that anything below $5 for 10 consecutive days is officially considered a penny stock, and a lot of institutions cannot hold it on margin. position, and also in some special accounts, on which SoftBank did kind of qualify under that aspect. So most likely if they were still maintaining their position at this stage in the game, they would have had to have sold some position at least. So when it comes to it though, there's not that other many institutions that do qualify. So I think SoFi is not going to be doing a reverse stock split at this stage in the game. So I think that's a very positive thing. That's a lot of fear off of our back, because I think at the end of the day, a lot of SoFi investors were very much worried about that. But still, when it comes to it, as I mentioned, I like to see what big money is doing behind the scenes, and this is the secondary market. A lot of big transactions being done today, so that's always a very positive sign. And as far as this, so looking on the secondary market to see who is buying, so as of right now, the 12th, there's only been 4 transactions, relatively small, but keep in mind on a secondary market, you don't get these big transactions normally. These are a very big abnormality, having 2.59 million and 1.74 million on the 9th. Those are very, very abnormal. And the fact that both these were after hours definitely makes you question that who knows something. Does someone know something behind the scenes? But let me know your thoughts on all of that in the comments below. Give yourself a shout out in the comments below as well if you've been taking advantage of these discounted prices to either average down or make a brand new position. As I've always said, I continue to do SoFi videos because I believe in SoFi is a very long-term investment. Fundamentally, on paper, this is exactly what I look for an investment, because their earnings are home run. Their earnings are showing a lot of good growth, and despite the fear in the market, they're growing at a substantial rate. So I think that speaks volumes, and it's one of those situations where you shouldn't let these discounted prices or the fact that there's so much fear out in the market distract you away from your own due diligence. So keep in mind, I'm not a financial advisor, so do your own due diligence at the end of the day. On a side note, let me know your thoughts on the Fed decision rate, if you think that is going to positively help SoFi, or if you think that, for instance, they are going to increase the APY. I particularly hope Anthony doesn't necessarily do that, and that they do maintain it at the 2.5 for the checking and 3%, I believe, for the savings, or it might have been 3.25. Let me know your thoughts on that. But no matter what, it is going to be a very exciting time for SoFi. But if you haven't already, hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Always greatly appreciated. If you do like my channel and support the growth, take a look at my memberships, link in the description below, or just hit the join button at the bottom of the screen. With that said, appreciate you guys watching. Let's all make a lot of money on SoFi.